Well, howdy, all you collector car fans out there. This is once again Jason, the owner and founder of Southern Bush Motorsports. So, this is a great Tales from the Bush. It's more of a tale than anything else, but I just wanted everybody that maybe didn't know or had never seen pictures like this before to see what it was like from the very beginning. The beginning of these old muscle cars that we love and how things actually got started. Most people don't believe that these cars were lined up like this, and they don't believe that a clay model of the car was actually done first. So I thought I'd just reveal it all and show you pictures of the original pictures of cars from the factory and clay models and stuff like that that most of you have never seen, but it's a great place for you to take a look at it. See that right there is a Dodge 68 Dodge Charger right there. Gives you an idea of what they were thinking about. Hey, look at that. Believe it or not, that thing's got real tires on it, real bumpers on it, and it's really made of clay. That's what they did, to get an idea of what these cars would look like. That Corvette right there, real tires, real bumper, and that entire car is made out of clay. This is how they got the, they went from the drawing board to let's see what it looks like. That car, hard to believe, real tires, made out of clay. I don't think that Banshee ever hit production, but that's what these pictures are, what these cars look like. That's the first Camaro, 67 Camaro. That thing's got the real tires, real bumper, real headlights, but it's completely made out of clay. I just thought this would be a great opportunity for everybody that has never seen this before. This is the beginnings. This is where all these old muscle cars started. An idea on the drawing room floor, and it went to a clay model. That car, completely clay. Doesn't look like it, but it is clay. 100%. That car right there, that was what the Chevelle Super Sport was supposed to look like, and that car is made out of clay. So engineers would draw up pictures of these old cars, and then they would hand it over to the clay guys. That's your Chevelle right there, and that thing, or I think it was, Chevelle, and that thing's completely made out of clay. This is how they got mock-ups to see what the car would actually physically look like before they went into production. So we got all these clay models that were made up. Now, these cars were all destroyed. I've never seen a clay model of a car ever surface. These pictures that I found took a lot of hours to find these historic pictures. Chevrolet Chevelle, circa 67, clay. And you can see the production cars on the other side. 69 Ford Mustang, two-seater, super sweet car. I don't think that one ever made it into production, but that thing's all clay. And here you got the Chevrolet Camaro, that's 69. It looks like obviously they changed it a little bit, but that's why they do these clay models, so they can get it right. And that Pontiac Firebird, the Firebird never came out looking like that. The 70 never did, but they do these production models in clay first to make sure that they know what it's going to look like. That's a cool one right there. That's super sweet. I had one of those 71 Mustangs. It didn't look like that, but there's a 71 Ford Mustang. See that real nice and shiny, but that thing is real tires and stuff, but it is made out of clay, no question about it. That's a Camaro concept car. Actually, I wish that would went in production. You can see in the background how they start them out with the framing and that, so they can put the clay on. And 71 AMC Javelin, well, that's a pretty rare picture right there. But they used real emblems and real bumpers and stuff like that, and real wheels, just to get a more 75 Plymouth Barracuda. They never made that car. It was a cool car, though. I think they stopped making the Barracuda in 74. 71, 72 Roadrunner. That kind of looks like the way the Roadrunner came out, but obviously lots of changes are made. And these cars did roll around. They were made out of a steel frame, but it was just all clay, so they could shape it and shift it the way they wanted it to. And it was important for that to happen before it went into production. Here's a good idea. You can see the lines down the back of that car right there, the clay. Oh, these cars look real. You can see that's clay. And that's what that car looked like finished. All clay, nice and shiny, but it's not real. Once they did the clay model and they decided to go into production, they start producing all the pieces. So this is a pretty rare picture of them producing engines at an assembly plant. So just doing a recap here, you go from engineer that says, hey, I got a design for a car, to, okay, let's put it on paper. So they draw up pictures of it. Then they say, let's go to the clay model and see what it'll look like. Then they decide to put it in production, and that's where you get here, where they have to build all the engines and get all the parts together, nuts and bolts and that, before they even start assembling the cars. So there was a lot of work that went involved in it. Look at that. It's a 426 Hemi right there. Just piles of them all lined up, ready to win those cars. And quite an incredible process, even for back then. So Once all the parts are together, they start production. You know, these bodies will roll down the assembly line. They'll hang a build sheet above it, so the guys on the assembly line will know how to build the car. So that build sheet would stay above the car all the way till it gets taken down and finished car gets put into the train. This assembly line right here was of the Shelby, so you know it wasn't quite as big as a production line because it was kind of like, you know, building a Rolls Royce. They didn't build a lot of them, so they paid more attention to it. You know, these are the guys on the assembly line dropping the motors and transmissions in them. Those are real pictures from back in the 60s, and you know, that's a 68 Charger on the assembly line. That's what it looked like when they were building these cars. You know, these cars came down, body down on the track, and the motor and stuff got dropped into them. That's the finishing point at the Shelby assembly line where they're just doing some touch-ups and stuff. There's men and women that put a lot of time and hard work into these cars. My mother in 1970, I think it was the first woman to ever be allowed to work on the General Motors assembly line. She sued and she fought. She wanted to make more money for four kids and a single mom. And she was on the assembly line for 1 week and broke her back. So I don't have to tell you, at least she tried, right? This 68 Charger assembly line. So this is where the cars would be just checked. The build sheet's being checked, and it goes on to the assembly line, and then or it goes on to the train. Then this is the cars all stockpiled, you know, all put together, ready to go. That's the finishing right there. That would be right before the cars would be checked, build sheet checked, and then they would go on to the train, and the cars get all stockpiled up, get ready to go out to dealerships. It's pretty cool to see all those finished Daytonas sitting there like that. And that's just what it was. You know, the cars all get all lined up. I think that was a car show right there, but I put it in there so you could see that, you know, the finished cars get all lined up before they get sent down on trains to the dealership. You know, that's what they all look like. They stockpile them up at the assembly plant before they get all sent out for people to buy them. You know, this was all real. This is all happened. Look at all those Mustangs there, you know. These cars were actually built. They were actually, this is a process that they went through. But, and then, you know, towards the end of the video, look at all those Corvettes. You're going to see where the cars are now. And, you know, they look beautiful here, but they didn't all stay that way, that's for sure. There's a GTO assembly line. So those are finished GTOs ready to go onto the train. Boy, just, wow. Can you imagine that? 1967 GTO, brand new. 1968 Charger, built, cleaned up, ready to go out. I think that's a dart behind it. You know, they went down the assembly line the way they went down the assembly line. There's a Chevrolet assembly line right there, finished cars just waiting to go onto the train. It's amazing to see these pictures, and it took me hundreds of hours to get all these pictures gathered up together. But this is what some of the cars look like later on in life. Wrecked, totaled, unfixable, just a shame. You know, a lot of people don't realize that how many of these cars got destroyed. Well, you got to be really careful with having your car inspected. You know, those were found in the bottom of a river, 69 Camaro. Because a lot of stuff happens over the years. You know, some will get into accidents, some have things happen to them, some get turned into hoop-to-do cars and cut into drag cars. You know, it's a 71 Hemi Cuda right there. You know, that's a beautiful Corvette. I don't know why the back of it's caught on fire, but you know, a lot of stuff happened over the years, so a lot of these cars were taken out of not being able to be saved. So it's why it's important you get an inspection done on your car, because there's a lot of good reasons out there to clone a car and not tell anyone that that's what you've done. Now that's what you call wrapping a car around a pole. Holy crap! I don't know. I hope the person survived that one. But that's rough. And you know, they all ended up in places like this, junkyards back then. Look at the gold cache there. Look at all those cars. I would kill to be in that place back then. But these pictures are taken back in the 80s. Nobody cared back then. We didn't know these cars were going to do this. We didn't know they'd be valuable. Look at that. Roadrunners. Chargers. Ugh. Challenger. Let's just drive a claw through it. Not a spot of rust on that car. Wow. And then some of them ended up like this many years later. No one's to blame. We didn't know. Guys like this with that Mustang there, they just held on to these cars. Ugh, look at that Camaro there. Oh, hideaway headlights. You know, we didn't know that these cars were going to be valuable later on. We didn't know that 67 or 87 Gretzky hockey car was going to be worth $1 million. Who knew? But hopefully future generations can continue on the legacy of collecting these cars and restoring them. Not doing this. Don't just find a car and let it sit in a barn for 20 years, because that doesn't help anybody. Get them out there. Oh, look at that. I believe that was a 446 pack Super Bee air grabber. It's a shame where we let some of these cars end up, but like again, we didn't know. 68 Charger RT just sitting on the ground, rotting all to hell, and it's actually a super solid car. That car could have been saved. But these pictures were taken a long time ago. Look at the Chargers lined up in the field. This guy right here probably smart enough to know what he had and save them, but you just couldn't save them all. And we didn't know. Buildings full of Corvettes. At least they took them out of the weather and probably going to restore them one day. But we did a lot of crap to these cars, and we could have avoided it, but we didn't know. Look at all those beautiful convertibles, hardtops. Just mind-blowing. Well, I appreciate you coming out, checking on our Tales from the Bush. These cars can be saved. Look at that beautiful Roadrunner right there. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you can. If you can contribute with giving with the Patreon page, I'd really appreciate it. And thanks for coming by to check out another Tales from the Bush.